Greetings, this is Tal Bev Stormreaver with Tal Talks, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you for our panel today, the Mandalore's panel. So with me, my expert panelists are...
I'm Balin Halon. I've been a member of the club since 2009.
Condar Ward. I've been a member since 2007.
Mandalore the Uniter. I started the club.
The man. What have been some of the biggest challenges the club as a whole has faced and either overcome or faced and redirected because of?
Oh my gosh.
This is where Tom says, Balin.
That was many years ago, okay?
Just that one time.
Got better.
Actually, Balin was kind of in the middle of some stuff. Was that back in 2009?
You're going to have to be a lot more specific, boss.
About the CRL stuff.
Again, you're going to have to be a lot more specific.
I always call it the CRL uprising of 2009.
Ooh, I would love to hear more about this.
Well, basically it was several Alorad had, in the round table, basically spoke up and said, look, we want costumes judged differently. And that was when PJ was the perso at the time.
The introduction of what I call the Balin clause?
Yes. The quality clause?
Yep.
Yeah. That's basically where the quality clause came from. And the CRLs, the way in which they look today is largely because of the great CRL uprising of 2009.
That's actually when I was still on the app team, because I got into an argument with PJ about we needed to start enforcing some quality, not just check mark, check mark, check mark.
So to clarify, again, for those who do not know, what's the quality clause?
Oh.
I'll let them talk about it.
Yeah, you go ahead. Condar is on the apps team currently. He can tell you all about that quality clause, that golden rule.
That golden rule, the quality clause is what the app team uses to address issues that are not clear to the applicant. The quality clause has become several different CRLs, like blood and gore, skulls, things like that. And they've all became their own CRLs, but you have to keep the quality clause in because you never know what's going to come next. Everybody's trying to think of the next greatest and biggest thing to make their kit stand out. Nobody wants to be a cookie cutter of another kit. You don't want to stand next to somebody and go, which one are you? You want to be able to stand out, And the quality clause sometimes has to come into play because it's not that the quality isn't good. The quality isn't what we find acceptable. It's not that it isn't made well. I mean, I've seen some great kits, but they were just so over the top, like too much blood, too much weathering. You couldn't even really tell. There's so much dirt you couldn't tell. I mean, I know we like grime, but some of them you gotta edit, and edit and quality clause go hand in hand. Editing will make your kit great. You have to be able to dial it back, and that's what we try to put through on the app team with the quality clause. We don't just rubber stamp it and say, nope, quality clause, you're sent back. We're not going to tell you what's wrong with it. We'll label it. We'll put it all out there for you and tell you the things that you should change or you should look into it. And very rarely or anymore. It used to be a big thing, but now it's come to people understand. They're working well with their Rousselors, and the Rousselors see it beforehand and can tell them, no, you're going the wrong way with this. That's going to get quality clause flagged, and that seems to be like the big hammer that somebody has, but it's not really. It's it comes in as, what we do this for. We do this for children and charities and stuff like that, and you can't walk in and just scare everybody into place.
Okay.
That's where the quality, it's not that it's bad quality, it's just not the quality that we want, or we think that represents the club.
Okay.
And you can have a custom kit all you want, and you can have and wear it and do whatever, but if you want to be an official member and represent us or represent the club, there's certain we have a line that you can go up to, and you just can't cross over that, and it's fine, trust me.
Sure. I think another big struggle is getting to all the areas that we as on the planet, getting everywhere. That's always a big struggle. How do we get a foothold in some of these areas where they may not be able to build a costume
Mm-hmm.
that is what we normally allow? That's always been something that I have struggled with. I'm just throwing out some countries there, like Bangladesh or Southeast Asia, someplace, Southeast Asia, where it's third world countries or just getting into second world countries, and they don't have, they can't afford all these things. But they do Star Wars, and I see it on Facebook. I see it on social media where they do Mandalorian costumes, and they don't look bad. I mean, it's obviously would not pass our approval process. But how do we reach those places?
Mm-hmm.
And how can we reach those places to help guide those people and those foundlings? I mean, they're basically foundlings that it's just, that's one of my big struggles there is, how do we keep uniting the faithful? I use that term. That's Akalit Solish. How do we keep uniting the faithful and bringing them into the fold? And, I think we have to figure out a better way maybe to reach some of those areas. And then, of course, the other big struggle, I think, is just the organization itself. Merck's has grown so much since it was just a little outline on a piece of paper and 13 and a half years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a machine. I mean, it's very much a machine, and there's a lot of governance that we have to deal with. Because we are a valid, a registered nonprofit. We're an actual organization. We're about to become registered in Australia. We're registered in France. Our French clan is registered in France.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're registering in different countries, and that's something I never thought I would ever see, is that we're going in that nature, and that we're expanding out into other countries.
Hold on. You really, okay, so hold on. Just to say, so first of all, we're awesome looking. I'm going to say it.
Sure. No, you're not wrong.
But I also will tell you that we have that values and honor that we've already talked a little bit about in other videos, but that values and honor and taking care of children, don't you think that sparks a universal chord across every nation? Like, to me, it seems obvious. Like, you built something beautiful, and now it's exploding worldwide because people want to take care of kids. People want to do the right thing and take care of kids. And, oh, yeah, look really awesome while you do it? Come on.
Sure. I think all of those things go hand in hand. I mean, these aren't things that one thinks about when they first start something like this. I mean, you don't think about, is the how big is the organization going to be in 10, 20, 30 years? You just, you don't think about that, especially when you're someone in your 20s and you just kind of just want to have fun,
Evolution is a slow process.
It really is. It is.
And we've gotten to that, like just in the 10 years that I've been here, the club has changed as it's grown, and none of it's been overnight. There's times some of it felt like it showed up overnight, but it's been that slow burn, the whole way through. So I can relate to that, not ever really thinking it was going to get that big.
See, and I was like, this is huge. This is huge. This is huge. To me.
Well, you do reach a point where you kind of come to this realization of this thing is going forward. It's a snowball, and it's only rolling downhill, getting bigger. And, you have to look at it that way. From where I sit, I have to look at everything. I have a wide view of everything,
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've told people before, I don't really know what it's like to be an official member. I've never just been an official member. Never. I mean, to be completely honest, I've never even submitted an application for membership. Yeah.
The irony.
I have never submitted a membership. Neither myself or my wife have ever submitted a membership application. The first 4 members of Mercs, I don't think we ever did submit applications. Because it wasn't really mandatory at the time. It wasn't something we had to do. And so I've never seen the club from those eyes. I've only ever seen them from sitting in the chair, and it's difficult to be able to do that because you don't really feel like what you're talking about. The help you don't. I go back to an interview that George Lucas had with Oprah several years ago, where
Mm-hmm.
he says, "I never understood the magic, what people got about Star Wars, what the fans." This is the magic. He said it's like being in the middle of a hurricane and you have all this stuff blowing around you, but you don't get to feel it. You're always there in the middle and I can relate to that, like 100%. I have my reasons for doing this, but I don't get some of the reasons that other people have doing it, and I don't know why it's taken off as much as it has, other than the fact that, who doesn't like Mandos? Really, that's pretty much where it starts and stops with me, is that one little feeling there. I don't really get, I just see this thing that I built and that I'm trying to keep going, and I don't get to see it from that level. So you guys have a perspective of it that I've never been able to have, and I envy you in a lot of ways because of that.
The irony here is that I think you set a moral North Star in a lot of ways around the club, because whether you meant to or not, you created a culture, a real life living and breathing, living and loving culture of doing good. And I'm getting the impression you didn't realize that you did that you've done that you've created a culture of people who go out and are trying to do the right thing, do the best that they can. And the world faces real life hard stuff.
Yeah.
Yet you helped give birth to this thing, and once you like, anyone as a parent knows, once your kids are grown, you kind of have to let them go. And I feel like you described the hurricane, and you're in this point where your baby is almost 18.
Oh yeah, yep. Well, you get to that point where it's like you realize that you're not going to be able to do this forever. I can't do this forever.
Lies.
Yeah, I don't know if I could mentally.
I expect you to chase people on your hover round, man.
Yeah, right. It's and there is an eventuality. At some point, there is an eventuality of things. But I never started it to be I just started it to build a cool costume and to troop with people who built costumes based on something that they loved. you know,
Mhm.
and that's what it was started out as, you know, is something that came from something I loved. I mean, I always loved Boba Fett. I wanted to save him
Oh.
the moment he fell in the Sarlacc pit, and this was my chance to do that, and I've been able to do that. I mean, I feel like, you know, I've been able to do that. And when we went to the Mandalorian premiere, out in Hollywood, when we watched it, you know, when we got to the third episode, when it was over with, man, I'm gonna tell you, I cried like a baby in that theater. It was. I was glad that I had members around me because people had to like hug me because it was bad. It was, you know, I was not very Mandalorish at that. By
But
the
you
time that
were.
evening was done, I was literally bawling like a baby because it's, you know, just seeing something that you've put so much of your life into, and, you know, seeing things that, because the organization has always had struggles, and will always have. No organization never has struggles, and we have struggles now with everything going on in the world.
Mhm.
But seeing all that come to fruition, and all that time that you've put in, and those struggles that you've done, and decisions that you've made that you know, people may have gotten hurt by,
Mhm.
but decisions that you had to make no matter what.
Mhm.
But seeing all that stuff come to life, and the whole world gets to enjoy it, you know, I mean, that really, I could probably die and be fine right now, and feel like I've done my contribution to the world. So anyway, yeah, I don't know if that even answers the question, but those are answers to questions.
I think that's a beautiful answer. This is Tal Bev Stormreaver for Tal Talks for the Mandalore panel, and I thank you for watching.